This week has provided a chilling example of what happens when liberal groupthink and attacks on the freedom of the press collide. As you know by now, the Mail on Sunday reported at the weekend on a story sourced from an anonymous Conservative MP that Labour's deputy leader had uncrossed her legs while in the Commons to distract the Prime Minister during PMQs. Now, lots of people didn't like that story. They believe the Mail on Sunday's highly respected political editor should have censored what the MP said they had heard from Rayner, and that the newspaper's editor should never have published the story. When they did publish the story, all hell broke loose.
The Prime Minister has been in contact with Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner to condemn an article written about her in yesterday's Mail on Sunday, calling it misogynistic.
Boris Johnson has condemned a Mail on Sunday article that claimed Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner tried to distract him in the House of Commons by crossing and uncrossing her legs.
The story has sparked a heated debate about sexism in Parliament.
Now, MPs across the political divide have condemned an article in the Mail on Sunday about Labour's Deputy Leader, and they've condemned it as sexist and misogynistic.
This is just disgusting, rank sexism, rank misogyny. And it's not just Angela that faces this, lots of women in politics too, and that's why obviously we need to call out anybody involved in this, but we need a culture change as well.
I have to say, I thought it was the most appalling load of sexist, misogynist tripe, and I immediately got in touch with Angela, and we had a very friendly exchange, and, you know, if we ever find who was responsible for it, well, I don't know what we'll do with them, but we'll be the terrors of the earth.
I just thought, is that what people expect and think about what I do? You know, all I worry about when I'm at the dispatch box is doing a good job and being able to, you know, do justice to my constituents and the work that I'm doing. So I was just really crestfallen.
I share the views expressed by a wide range of members, including, I believe, the Prime Minister, that yesterday's article was reporting substantiated claims of misogynistic and offensive. Those are what we believe.
So that's groupthink in action there, as the chattering classes wound themselves up into a hysterical frenzy. But last night, the Mail on Sunday and its editor David Dillon fought back against what feels like a very worrying trend for the Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, to try and dictate what newspapers publish. It comes as the newspaper's political columnist, Dan Hodges, reported 3 more MPs, one of them a woman, have privately come forward to back up the original report about Rayner purposefully uncrossing her legs to distract Boris Johnson. Now, they insist it was Rayner who made the joke herself during a night on the Commons terrace. As Mr. Dillon wrote in his rejection to Hoyle, the Mail on Sunday deplores sexism and misogyny in all its forms. However, journalists must be free to report what they are told by MPs about conversations which take place in the House of Commons, however unpalatable some may find them. Britain rightly prides itself on its free press. That freedom will not last if journalists have to take instruction from officials at the House of Commons, however august they may be, on what they can report and not report. The drive this week to say newspapers should not quote MPs anonymously is nothing more than an attempt, a very blatant attempt, to shut down freedom of the press. Without anonymous deep throats, journalists would have been unable to break a vast array of stories in the public interest. So when you hear elites say they don't believe newspapers should rely on anonymous sources, remember what they're really saying is, we don't want you to know what those in power are really saying behind the scenes when making decisions. As the Daily Mail raged in a powerful leader column today, are newspapers now expected to tailor their reportage to the whims of what MPs consider appropriate? Clearly cowed, the Speaker is now trying to rewrite history. Hoyle released a news statement today saying, I firmly believe in the duty of reporters to cover Parliament, But I would also make a plea, nothing more, for the feelings of all MPs and their families to be considered, and the impact on their safety when articles are written. I would just ask that we are all a little kinder. That is what I wanted to talk about at tomorrow's meeting. What complete and utter baloney. I will not take a lecture about kindness from the bloke who presides over the weekly nasty-off that is PMQs. It's also ironic, given the venom that has been spewing from MPs towards the journalist who wrote the original story. A reporter's job is not to show kindness to MPs. It is to accurately and fairly hold power to account. Massive respect to the Mail on Sunday for holding firm this week in the wake of an unseemly pile-on designed to censor Britain's already under threat free press.